Hey guys, this is Blake with the Three Hand Hunter channel, and thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to show you this watch, and I know I say I'm excited every time you tune into a video. I'm excited, but no, I am really excited about this watch because this is a rather unique and I think kind of rare watch. This is the Precista PRS-11 Broadarrow. Now, one of the reasons why this watch is so unique and kind of rare is, well, it's all in the name, right? If you look at the name, Broadarrow, do you think putting the name Broadarrow is going to bring some sort of legal repercussions? Well, I think that's what happened with this Precista watch. Back around the 2010 timeframe, Eddie Platts from Time Factors owns Precista. He owns the Smiths brand. Some of you are very familiar with the company. I actually, I have another Precista. This is my PRS-82. And my favorite tool watch, by the way, if you haven't seen a video of this watch and why it's my favorite tool watch, make sure you check it out. I love the Precista brand. I've never bought from Precista directly. I've always bought pre-owned because the shop's only open for a few hours early Sunday morning where I live because it's in the UK and I can never get there in time to get a watch. So I end up buying them on the pre-owned market. But I love them and I love this particular watch. And I have to start by saying, or I have to stop here and say this. I'm a watch enthusiast. I'm not an expert, and I don't know everything there is to know about the Precista brand and what happened to the Broadarrow name situation. So if you're watching this and you know more than me or know more than us, please jump in the comments below. Let us know, because I'm genuinely very interested to hear more about the conflicts that Time Factors had with, I believe, Omega back around 2010. So as you can imagine, there's not a whole lot of these watches in existence. These are low production watches. They already were, but because it has Broadarrow on the dial, it's kind of rare. So if you ever see one for sale and you like the watch, I think you got to jump on it because you're just not going to find them that often. You know, this watch, I don't think it's ever been serviced. It's got an ETA 2824, but it only holds about 30 hours of power reserve. So I know it needs servicing. And I've thought about it in the past, like, oh, well, maybe I'll just sell it, you know, let somebody else deal with the servicing. And you know, every time I do, I realize, man, this thing is pretty rare and it's really cool. And what's really rare too is, you know, here's the original packaging. I don't have the card, so I don't know how old this watch is, but it had the original NATO strap tucked way into the box, even the wrapping still on it. But really a unique watch, and I just really am super excited to show it to you. So let's talk about the dimensions. By the way, if you've seen this case before and you go, wow, that looks familiar. Well, the case shape is the CWC case shape. I'm 99% sure. My friend Bob, who's a local watch enthusiast, he owns the CWC quartz model. Now, they do and have started making the automatic models, and I believe they go for about $2,000 US or so. And I believe this watch, the earlier version was PRS-4, I think, and I think it was a quartz version. Anyway, this is the automatic version, a little bit more unique in my opinion. But the case shape, you're going to notice, is that very popular, you know, UK military dive style watch. The case shape, or excuse me, the case dimensions, let me get them for you. about 41.5 millimeters. So it's that real sweet 41 millimeters, right? And the lug to lug is 47, just around 47 point change, right? The thickness, or I should say the thinness of the watch is about 11, it's about 11 and a half. Flat sapphire crystal, 20 millimeter lug width, and it fits great. You know, if you ever see the CWC watches, you'll notice they're all on NATOs. There's a reason why, because the watch wears really flat on the wrist. It does. And because it wears so flat on the wrist, to have it protrude off of your wrist a little bit with a NATO, it's the military styling, but it also pulls it off of your wrist so that these beautiful crown guards, that you can see that crown's just nestled right in there, unsigned, but nestled right in there, just protecting it. Those will dig into the side of your wrist if you're not using a NATO. So I would think that's the only drawback to this case shape, but I actually really like the case shape based on my wrist size. Now, let me just show you a little bit about the, I'll talk a little bit about the dial and about the bezel before I put it on my wrist. This is a 60 click, and listen to it. Ah, so great, right? Beautiful 60 click, unidirectional. Has a little bit of back play, but I mean this watch is probably 13, 14 years old, somewhere around there, but works really well. Very positive clicks. Aluminum bezel insert. You can see the dial, and the lume in this watch is not great because it's starting to show its age, right? It's the hands are a little bit darker lume. The dial's kind of fading out. Beautiful little colored date wheel, the black date wheel in there, little circular porthole, but it's really hard to see when you have double digits. It's hard to see what date it is. And at my age, unless you have readers or a magnifier, it's hard to see the date. I just look at my phone. But anyway, I digress. Notice the case is a PVD case. Look at the patina on the case. One of the, dare I say it, I'll say it. One of the sexiest things about a PVD case is when it's patinaed like this. I love those old 70s chronographs. The Lejour, or some of the French brands. I think Tag Heuer, or before Tag, but Heuer made those, the chronograph old 70s cases, and they're all patinaed like this. I think that is the coolest look on a watch. So I love it. I love the way it looks. I'm gonna put it on my wrist so I can show you what it looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. I am today wearing my Citizen Challenge diver. This is an old 70s diver. This is their equivalent of the 62 MAS. I've owned 4 of these. This is my 4th. I had one that was a Pakistani Air Force, one that had the Broadarrow actually on the back of the case back. Those are hard to find. I wish I would have not sold that. Not the original bracelet. This is a ProMaster bracelet. Still very jangly. Can't wait to do a review for that for you guys, and I will soon. I promise. Okay. So let's put it on my 7¼ inch wrist, and you can see how it feels. And I want to say, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. First of all, I appreciate it. But also, if you like to see watches that are a little bit, different, maybe different from what you might see on other channels, then subscribe to the channel. So this way you don't miss any of the content. You don't miss any of these unique watches. And remember, this Precista right over here, I did a review of it. My favorite tool watch, still is. I've had this thing for a while and I love it. It's a keeper, if you will. That's what it looks like on a 7¼ inch wrist. Wears really well. Like I said, this case shape is extremely popular. My friend Bob that has the CWC, I can't wait to show you a side-by-side comparison of the two, because like I said, I'm positive that they're the same case shape, diameter, and everything, but I want to match them up to one another and then show them to you. But you can see also wearing it on a NATO, pretty important because of the thinness of the watch itself. It's nice it doesn't poke into the side of your, or my wrist rather. So one of the other things I should also note, look at that Look at that Broadarrow, or excuse me, the broadsword handset. I mean, that's cool, right? Very, very good for diving and being able to recognize what the minute hand is showing you. Anyway, well, I hope you've enjoyed seeing this watch, and let me introduce myself, because if you've made it this far, my name's Blake. I'm a bit of a watchaholic, and yeah, like I said, if you made it this far, you probably are one too. So I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope to catch you on the next video, and see you soon.